In this video I'll show you how to install Windows Vista and make Windows Vista as secure as possible. Then this video tutorial is for you. Now first, click on new virtual machine. I'm using VMware Workstation for this tutorial, but if using VirtualBox then you should install it correctly by using the features of VirtualBox, like new virtual machine, blah blah blah, VirtualBox. Then install Windows Vista, then install its guest edition software, and do all manually on VirtualBox. Because VirtualBox does not have the features as VMware does, like drag and drop and automatic install, that VirtualBox does not. And you should have watched this video even if you're on VirtualBox and have Windows Vista fully installed and refreshed. Then if that is that, then you will watch the video, then you skip the whole process of the installation, then you'll reach the installation chapter. Then if you reach that, then you will start following everything that I say in the video. If you don't and you install it incorrectly, then your Vista VM will be unbootable and you need to do it all over again, which is very difficult. That's why I recommend that you follow it correctly and install all of which we needed is going to be installed correctly in this video. After listening to my video, then we should get started. But remember to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon and share this video with the public, and you should make sure that they watch this video as they have Windows Vista VM in place, that they should make it perfect to make it secure. Share the video to them, and even to those who are on Reddit, like the r/Windows Vista subreddit. Share this video to them also, and comment the videos, like this video, with them, and share all along with them while showing them this video, by sharing this video. And that's the most important thing that you need to do and to expect, because this video is tailored for Windows Vista users who are looking for long life of their operating system after its support ended in April 11, 2017, and after that people are looking ways to make Windows Vista secure. Look, WinClient 5270 has made Windows Vista secure back in August 2019, that is about 6 years ago. That's quite old, but it's still recent, even if it's old. That should work with this video as well. I'll also provide you a link to watch that, and watch that video in the description box below, which you can also follow up even when watching this video. You should watch both, because that's a very critical aspect that you need to follow, because you need to follow everything all correctly. If you don't, and you still choose to work all alone, then your Vista VM will be corrupted, or even non-bootable or functional. And most people recommend you to also install Windows Vista extended kernel, and that is part of the installation. You need to have the Ubuntu or Linux Mint Live CD or USB and do manual installation steps, blah 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 blah, etc. blah blah blah, to install kernel extended kernel, I think. After doing the blah 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 installations, which are difficult even for me, because I don't like to boot live Linux on my PC, because I feel like that I am going to be getting used to Linux. Because why? Because I'm currently used to switching to Linux from Windows. That's why I don't like it. If I if I change my habits to testing only Linux and going back to Windows for temporary use, then I'll test Linux on my host PC. Now, without further ado, we should get started. I'm using VMware. Click on New Virtual Machine, difficult recommended, click Next, then I select the Windows Vista ISO file to 32-bit, enter product key if you have a key, but I'm using a pre-activated version, click Next, and I'll click on Yes, and I'll select Windows Vista, then I'll click Next, Finish, then I'll power on the virtual machine. Then this screen you will enter your product key, but I've already downloaded a pre-activated version, but I recommend you download the non-pre-activated version because I recommend that you enter your key first, but make sure that you find the ISO file which looks like Windows Vista ISO file with product key pre-added into the text file. You should use the ISO file as Microsoft cancelled OEM distributions in 2012. Click Next, and I'll click on No. Then I'll go forward to the next step, which are the next step. This is the next step they should expect. This is the standard screen of copying the files, expanding, blah 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 blah, etc. So blah blah blah. After this has done, you should be able to boot to Windows Vista. Now, as I'm on VMware, the installation of VMware tools take about, it only takes 2 minutes to complete. That's very fast enough to quickly boot to Windows Vista. That's very fast. Only 2 minutes to complete, and that's it. You can now continue this video, but only at the Windows Vista desktop, which when it reaches the desktop of the video, you should stop there. But no, you should first click on my video, then you should ignore all the installation steps, then you should go to the timestamp which has my Windows Vista desktop appearing with VMware tools installed and blah 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 installed configured, and refresh it also. You should go there, go into that entry instead of the installation steps, because you have already installed Windows Vista on VirtualBox or VMware Player. No, VMware Workstation, I think, or even Player if you want one. And I'll pause the video until this is done. Your VM might flicker a little bit, but don't worry about that. It is installing, and I'll be right back until it's done. And then Windows Vista is installing, and I will not. I'll remember later, and it's going to be loading the Windows Vista screen. And I'll reset this virtual machine. But first I'll pause it, then I'll resume it. Then it will take a minute, because that's quite slow. And I'll resume the virtual machine, and Windows Vista is going to be, it should be booting up. I'll try to close VMware Player, VMware Workstation, and do it to open up the software. And the VMware Workstation should be opening up. Or maximize this. And I'll resume this virtual machine. It's restoring the virtual machine state. It's booted up, and it's going to be preparing the desktop of Windows Vista, and it should be preparing the normal Windows Vista desktop. You will also enable error on this machine to make error to work. But when I try to make error to work, it's rebooting. When I tried to make error to work, I found that error was working, but it was only a test in VirtualBox and not VMware Workstation, because I don't have the drivers for error. On my Windows Longhorn error testing, I also tried to install VMware Tools 10.6.1, I think, 11.0.6. I was installing, but it gave me an error asking me to grant permissions. I tried it, but nothing worked. But this video is for configuring Windows Vista, not the earlier beta Longhorn build. Now it's rebooting, and this menu bar will come up. Still no audio, still no stop sound available, still no this. But there is no sound at all, unless VMware Tools will be installed onto this VM. And it's currently booting up. There it is, we are on the desktop. That's quite quick. And it's booting up on Windows Vista. The guidance sidebar appeared, and the Windows Vista will be starting to install VMware Tools. The step is automatic, and it should install VMware Tools on it. I'll refresh the desktop. Everything else works fine on this VMware Workstation virtual machine. And we'll check Windows version. And this is successfully booting up into Windows Vista. And that is how it works. All of them are new and all of them are stable there. Everything else works fine. That's good. Now I'll install VMware Tools, so I'll go to start, then I'll type in and I'll click on the setup icon. Click on allow, still no UAC sounds because we have already not installed the driver. The installation is still booting up on Windows Vista. It's still installing. Now I will cancel this. I'll go to VM, or go to cancel VMware Tools installation, then I'll update VMware Tools. And it should install. And as you can see, I've edited my video and I've exported this video with a bunch of projects I've added, and I split them all to make my video a lot more smaller. And I've also exported a video and it took about 60 minutes to complete, or even about 2 hours or more, and after that hour length my video was swapped into I moved the video file, the MP4, onto this. Then what I did is that I have cut out all of the empty parts which had a black screen, and this is how I fixed the issue, and this is my video ready for the next clip, and that's what I did for my video. And now let's talk about Windows Vista testing. Now I've selected 1440 by 900 pixels per my monitor inch, and I'll use this in full screen and everything works still fine. And Super Medium works fine. I've activated Super Medium, but I still not signed into my Super Medium browser, and everything works fine as expected. Everything works. Microsoft Word 2007 also works. You can even type in your text document for your testing purposes. Then I'll save the presentation, and I'll save it in my documents. For Outlook, I'll configure it for non-email support. It's configuring the Outlook account, and I'll click on no, next, and I'll continue with no email support. And it's now configured. This has worked for me first time since July 2025, when Outlook was not being able to activate by my approach. My approach failed, but when I found that without email support can fix that, I selected that. Then Outlook finally worked for the first time, Outlook 2007. And that was from July 2025. And we have notes. All of them are here. We have folders list, calendar, contacts, and more. And we can go to the view. We can add it to the month, etc. All of them should be working fine as usual. And I'll remove the headline gadgets, and I'll add more and more gadgets. I'll click on plus, and I'll go to calendar, contacts, CPU meter, and slideshow as well. Now I've already have a slideshow added, and more, including notes and etc. But I'll remove the notes, I'll add I'll organize my own gadgets. And that's how it works. I'll test Windows Media Center on this VM. as it is the default multimedia for Windows Vista. And then in welcome, I'll select Express setup, click on OK. Then after you configure Windows Media Center, what I have to do is you have to do a performance test while scrolling up and down, and you'll click on this picture plus videos for your first hand Windows Media Center use, and I'll click on no because I don't have it for the edge, but if I do I will click on yes. But I have to import pictures and videos, stuff like that, to the folder if I want to do that. Now in this I'll select whatever picture I like, and I play to view the slideshow. This is a very ambient and very good slideshow, which you should have. I'll skip and I'll go forward and backwards, and that's how it works. We have this and this as well, all of them. And we'll check the Windows Media Center version, and you should go to General, load about Windows Media Center, our version, then it's here. 6.0 is the code base of Windows Vista, the version of Windows NT, and Windows Media Center as well, Longhorn RTM. This means that this was a Longhorn release and the RTM is released to manufacturer. Now this cannot work because of error is not installed on this. I'll install error on my next video, which I going to do. Now I'll log off of my Vista VM, we'll then do a login test. And that's how Windows Vista works fine on this VM. Now performance usage at all, ignore this window message I'm getting on my Windows Vista VM. And we will test PowerPoint as with, and I will title my PowerPoint presentation or check the PowerPoint. And I'll save this, and I'll click on and I'll enter a name. And I'll go to Excel and I'll test that as well. The reason why I'm testing much more often in this video, even if it's getting longer, because I want to ensure that everything else should work fine. If not, everything else was lagging, slow and sluggish if you did not watch the scene. That's why I'm testing the whole application in the Windows Vista video. Well, I'm getting this window because I'm saving this frequently, because that I will be retaining these tests and the documents folder that I do not lose them, and I might have later backed them up onto my USB drive if I need to. And that's it for the video. It took me about 3 days to make and edit the video, and I've experienced long time to export and preparation and do everything else that I needed to do. But that's okay, that's part of our video experience, don't worry. And I should not worry as well, because that's part of our experience. We should adopt to the slow speeds as I'm used to the fast when exporting my video. But I'm not going to talk about that. I'm talking about Windows Vista. Now, Windows Vista is an operating system which took a long development and Longhorn's code base. No, it's not the code base, it's on the Windows NT code base from, yes, the Longhorn code base as well. And Windows NT 6.0 is the final release of Windows Vista. And I'll change my desktop background. I'll change it. You can see everything else loads very smooth, with no laggy at all. And I'll select the wallpaper, save the theme. The reason why you do not need to save it to the reason why you cannot save the theme to the Windows resources /themes folder, which is in the directory of your hard drive, and that's because Windows Vista introduced mandatory permissions like UAC and special permissions which not allowing you to save it to the directory like see Windows resource themes folder, which Windows XP allowed you to do. And the people who are used to it was getting much more frustrated with Windows Vista, and that's another reason of Windows Vista's negative reputation. And that's why Windows Vista was highly criticized in the computing landscape. And even today, I am the fewer people who like Windows Vista much often than Windows XP, who likes. Now, Windows XP, I like Windows XP as well, but my main OS is Windows Vista, and the people who like Windows, who like the out-of-date computing landscape, likes Windows XP rather than the problematic Windows Vista in its launch. And that was most people, and that happened to most of people, even worldwide. And that was published in blogs and all of them about Windows Vista's big failure. And that will happen to the world and to Microsoft as well. And that will happen to, and that what is happened to the computing experience of users. Printers and hardware and everything else did not work fine in Windows Vista as they would in Windows XP. And that what triggered people's frustration to Windows Vista. And that what happened to the Windows Vista operating system. This is also showcased in YouTube videos, and my C drive is full, don't worry, ignore that. And that will happen to the operating system. Now, many people have reverted back to Windows XP on computers who were pre-installed with Windows Vista, and people were confused and disappointed about the Vista capable slogan and the marketing branding of the PCs, and that only did run the basic Windows Vista edition, and they also performed slowly, even with the even with the lightweight basic theme. But it introduced more resource intensive themes like UAC, which is already an annoying feature for most people. But for me, it's not. But that's my personal opinion. That's up to them, because they find it annoying. and the user interface looks good, but the taskbar and all of these are confusing for users who are used to the Windows XP unit interface. And the sounds are good to them? No, the sounds are not, because the people who are used to Windows XP sounds and the Windows XP desktop environment and the OS itself are not as accustomed to Windows Vista's user interface and even the sounds etc. who Windows Vista bought, which competed Windows XP's. And that contributed to Windows Vista's major failure, and that will happen to Windows Vista. And that is the full story of Windows Vista's development, from the long reset Longhorn build to the final release of Windows Vista. And that how people blog about the failures and YouTube videos about the failures of the OS itself. And Windows XP was a lot more stable than this Windows version, Windows Vista, because it offered fewer resources and fewer RAM, fewer hard drive than Windows Vista used to provide. Windows Vista had higher system requirements and it could run slowly and less responsive on less powerful hardware, and which triggered people's more and more frustration responses, and all of them, which contributed to the end of Windows Vista's negative reputation. Even after Windows Vista received an SP2 update, Subspec, which addressed more and more problems of Subspec 1 and Subspec 0, Windows Vista was still disliked and people waited for Windows 7 or remained on Windows XP, and that's how the video is. And goodbye.